Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And welcome everybody to the Critical Blast podcast, whatever we want to call this thing, where we just get here and live stream and talk about comics. Tonight we have a special guest. We have Dutton, who is doing a cute little scary thing called Unstitched, and he's here to talk to you about that tonight. And while he's telling you about it, I want to direct your attention to the link in the description below. That is the link to the Indiegogo. And we are trying to help Justin get this comic funded so it can become a reality. We encourage you to click on that and then come back to the rest of the show. Justin, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, brother. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad to do it. So what is Unstitched about? I mean, I can get a general idea from looking at the Indiegogo, but here's where people can get a more in-depth look at the story.
Yeah, so Unstitched is a darker kind of all-ages story about the darkness and his forces trying to break a little girl's nightlight and terrorize and twist her dreams and imagination with fear. It's up to a brand new Teddy, who is sent out to protect her and her nightlight, do all he can to protect her dreams without becoming unstitched himself.
And that would be does Teddy have a name here?
He does. I don't quite want to say it because it's kind of a story plot, but I can tell you that Teddy is actually a title, and Teddy is actually also an acronym. So Teddy stands for Terrifically Effective Dreaming Defender. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And so who's the little girl that we're looking at here who sits up in bed?
The little girl, she's actually, so I made this book for my niece, and the little girl is actually designed and named after my niece. So that's Eleanor.
Very cool. What inspired you to what informed your story? Where did this idea come from, and how long have you been sitting on it?
So when I got like money to saved up to make a comic, I kind of told some family members, and at the time Eleanor was about 1.5, almost 2. And I told my sister, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool. Your niece really likes having books read to her, so you should make a comic for her." And I was like, "I don't have anything kid friendly. I have scripts, and none of them are kid friendly." And she was like, "You should do it." So I kind of got peer pressured, and I was like, "Looks like I got to make a brand new story out of scratch for my niece."
What comics had you done before?
Nothing really, because it's one of those so this is my first actual comic. Me and a couple of friends have tried, and they've all been failure to launch. I've written plenty of scripts. We've done some concept art, and they get to 1 or 2 pages and going, "Nah, you know what? Comics not for me."
Oh, well, are you doing the art on this one, or do you have somebody else doing the art?
I have someone else doing the art. Laura Rimbasambati, a Hungarian artist who is just absolutely fantastic, and a real professional and delight to work with.
Yeah, this has a very animated quality to it. I could see this being stills in something like an animated cartoon.
Yeah.
Do you have the page you can bring up? We can just kind of go through it here while we're talking about it.
Yeah. Actually, so my background in art itself is actually I went to school for animation and game design. So the way I write is actually very much in a animated perspective. You can see my screen?
I can see it. I can see there were 4476 out of 6,000. And by the way, folks, this is on a second, it's already on its extension. So it really does have only 22 days left to get this last 26%. We're going to see the different tiers here inside it to see what you can all do to help this thing become a reality. This is a good all ages kids comic. We don't see a whole lot of that in crowdfunding.
Yeah, the way I kind of describe it, it's Toy Story meets Coraline,
I can see that.
and this right here is actually Laura Limbasomty's cover, and you know my big belief is whoever is the interior artist should do the main cover,
Yes.
and I mean I just
agree with
love
that
it
as well.
because one, you know, you get a sense of what the art style looks like, but her cover, it's just I'm also just a big fan of the old school like Jack Kirby covers, where the covers themselves almost told a story. And I mean, you have like our Darkness, who's our main bad guy, Boogeyman, who's kind of like an evil version of a Teddy. He's bigger, he's meaner, and other Teddies he's gone against and has Unstitched he wears on his back, Monster in the Claws, and then just like they're standing on a pile of Teddies. But yeah, so you know, here's some of the art, the first 6 pages. And by the way, all 48 pages of art are already complete.
Oh, good. So 48
Yep.
page story. I'm assuming it's one complete story, not multiple issues, or
It's gonna be multiple issues because this is part 1 of 2. So this is the first half of the story, and then the second half will be part 2. And
that's
part
pretty
2 is gonna
daring
be
to come out and say it's going to be part 2 when you haven't delivered
yep.
a
Part
whole
1.
issue before, and you're asking people to jump in on faith. But you know,
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why. If you got all 48 pages done artwork, then this is something this is a fait accompli, as the French say. It's
Yeah.
a done thing.
Yep.
Oh, now, who's the eye patch guy?
All right, so this is Scruff, who is an instructor to like basically he is an instructor of people who become teddies. So this right here is the opening shot of Dreamland, right after like the first 3 pages where the darkness comes in and terrifies Eleanor and consumes her room. We then jump into Dreamland where you know you have our two like rookie wanting to be teddies in training, arguing, and Scruff here is their instructor and basically puts them through like the last test to see if they're worthy enough to become a teddy. And then he unleashes it's almost like a gladiator training arena where he unleashes a swarm of bed bugs, which are these pillow creatures for them to fight. And the Dream King is up on the balcony watching the new recruits to see which one will become a teddy.
Yeah, I could definitely see this being a cartoon special.
Oh yeah. And I mean, this has you know passed, but we did have a 48-hour backer raffle, and this was a going to be a foil print. This is actually the variant cover as well. So at the very top, you saw Laura's cover. This is actually a cover done by Jason Brubaker, who's done a lot of crowdfunded books before, and I'm really excited about him doing the variant because he was like on my top 3. I really wish, but I don't actually think I'll be able to get them. And I actually got one of them, and I was like, "Oh my god, you weren't supposed to say yes, but you did."
You fool!
And I mean, his cover is amazing. And again, he also did very storytelling. And I didn't even tell him anything. I just kind of, you know, showed him concept art and I asked if you could do it. He was like, "I like the art. Tell me a little bit of the story." Because right now it's at a maybe. So I told him the story, and then I showed him like the first 18 pages, and he was like, "I love it. I'm in." He was like, "Give me a few days," and more or less, like in about 2 weeks' time, he knocked it out, and I gave him no guidelines or instructions on how I want the cover or anything. It was completely on his own, and I just love like how he has the darkness swirling around Eleanor and her teddy, like behind his little knife and her elbow. You see Mike, which is a monster in the closet, and then you see another swarm of bed bugs swarming in behind that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful mixture of cute and deadly.
Yeah. Um, I kind of go, all right, so uh, cute and creepy or like whimsical horror.
Yeah, whimsical horror. I mean, she's surrounded by eyeballs and she's walking through them, and her teddy bear's got a knife for crying out loud. He's ready to stab somebody. That's
Yes.
child's play. That's not cute, but it is cute the way it's presented here.
And I mean, we got some pretty amazing tiers as well.
Well, let's
With
take a
our
look at these.
featured,
Now, I saw the one at the
yeah,
top, the featured tier.
yeah.
That's $55 tier. So that's a pretty hefty price, and 18 people have gone in on it. So what's in that
Yep.
that made that so appealing?
All right, so you're getting two books. You're getting both Laura's cover and Jason's cover. You're getting a fold-out poster, 11 by 17,
Nice.
which is right here, and then you're gonna get a mini print, like 5 by 7 as well.
So that's
So you're getting two
a
books, a poster, and a
print.
mini print.
And it looks like it's a popular one. Like I said, you've got 18 people claiming that one already.
Yep. Then we just added this about a week ago, a digital tier. Then we
$5
have
cheap.
yeah. Then we have just the poster itself. People just want the poster.
Okay.
$25. We have Laura's cover, and for
that's about
25,
standard price for a comic through crowdfunding.
yep. And then we have Jason's cover, which what makes me really happy and what kind of excites Laura is the fact that Jason is 18 and she's actually beaten Jason with 19.
It's a competition, guys.
Everything's a
We should get them both on
competition.
here to push their covers.
That would be great.
So each of the comics is 25, and then the poster is 15. But if you go to that top tier, you got you're basically getting the two comics, and then you get the poster and a print for just the $5 extra, which is pretty good discounted deal there.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to make sure like on the feature tier, it was worth the money. Here's one that I think is actually one of the most exciting. So if everyone or anyone has a local comic shop that they really love, I have a retail bundle. It's 6 books, 3 of each cover, 6 mini prints, and I'm offering buyback.
Ooh.
So, yep, it's all reward and no risk for a local comic shop. And an additional thing, because I'm in North Carolina, any shop in North Carolina, Virginia, or South Carolina that does back this, I am willing to travel to those shops in those 3 states to help promote and sell this book as well.
Very cool. So you should go to like Dragon's Lair, I think is
Yep.
I don't know if it's Dragon's Lair or Dragon's Den in Fayetteville. It's where I used to live in Cameron. So
Nice. And then we have a children's hospital bundle, which is going to be 6
sweet.
books of Laura's cover going to St. Jude's Hospital. And the only thing I'm doing is I'm kind of keeping the at cost of the printing of the book. And then essentially all the profit will go to the hospital itself. So, there's going to be books for like kids to read who, and the main theme for Unstitched is finding the courage to take on your fears. And those kids are, to me, like some of the bravest in the world. So hopefully, my book can like distract them for like a couple of minutes.
Sure. Now, a lot of people, when they set up a charity event like that, there's something personal behind that. Do you have personal interaction with St. Jude's Hospital, or is it just like, you want to do something and that looked like a decent fit for the book theme?
Yeah. So I have like St. Jude's and Ronald McDonald's because, both mean a lot to me. My nephew's been in it. When I was a kid, I had to go to St. Jude's for a little bit. And I've just had like, a bunch of friends and family whose had to use it either like as themselves as kids or their kids or my cousins. So they're really they're both great charities. So I want to make sure that they're able to be taken care of, and kids can be entertained and hopefully find some distraction in like a very tough situation, and money go to the hospital where they can help out future kids as well.
That's an awesome bundle there, guys. I mean, I know you don't get the comic for it, but you get a lot more than just the read for that one. So $90 to donate to Ronald McDonald House. And for those who don't know the difference between the two things, St. Jude's Hospital is obviously a hospital. Ronald McDonald House is a place that provides lodging and meals for the parents of the children who are in these hospitals, so that they don't have to, they're worried enough about hospital bills and medical bills. Even going to St. Jude's, they don't need to be kicking out, $190 a night just to have a decent hotel room near the hospital. Ronald McDonald House takes care of all that stuff for them. So that's another wonderful charity that would do wonderful to get these kind of bundles. And yeah, the parents don't read comics, but you know what? They bring brothers and sisters to stay with them at these places. So you got to have siblings for these kids in the hospital that'll be able to sit down and read these comics while they're waiting and worrying about their brother or their sister.
Yep. And then we have our last tier, because our last tier was the original art for the poster, and that's sold out. So our last tier is the Big Dreamer tier. This is only limited to 10, so we have 4 left. You're getting both books, poster and mini print that you saw in the Dreamer tier, plus a limited edition, and it's even going to have its own like piece of paper done by the people who made it, of like 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 authenticity of a handmade teddy bear of the boogeyman with glow-in-the-dark eyes.
Well, who wants the boogeyman, man? That's scary.
It's a really cool thing, though. It is scary, but I mean, his design is like, look at his design. He's so cool.
Now who's sewing that up?
So actually, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen real quick, and I can actually show you what he looks like.
Oh my God.
Yep. So these eyes actually glow in the dark.
That is frighteningly creepy, and he's got what is crawling out of it? Those are bears.
Yes.
Bursting out of his back with stuff and fluff.
Yeah. So these are supposed to be the unstitched teddy bears that he's taken care of previously.
Oh dear, that's nightmare material, man.
Like I said, we're whimsical horror in Unstitched. I mean,
somebody's going to want that, though. I mean, Coraline had a huge audience with the cute goth kind of aesthetic, and that's going to go.
I mean, we've so far we've sold 6 out of 10, so hopefully we can sell the other 4.
4 left. I think that'll happen. And if you sell the other 4, that's not going to get you there. We got to raise what? What are we, $1,600?
Yeah, about $1,600.
Okay. So.
But that will get me about 600. So if I sell the other 4, then that's just like 1,000 left.
That's a lot closer.
Yep.
Now, is the goal that you set? Do you think is that enough? I mean, you've already paid for the artwork to be done here and these covers, and those are expensive. I mean, if you're the writer on the deal,
yep.
I don't assume that your artist is a partner in this, but rather that you've had to pay for everything up front, which is what usually happens when you do the crowdfunded writing. So, I always tell people this in the audience whenever we're talking to a crowdfunding writer only, that this isn't really a huge profit happening right here. This is trying to get out of the hole you've dug yourself into to produce a book to give to them. And then we can worry about profit. So right now, are you even making it with the 6,000 that this is set to crowdfund for?
In truth, no. In truth,
Okay.
no. This
So we want to get
pretty
this
much
past 6,000.
yes. The 6,000 pretty much will pay for lettering. And I've already paid for some of that out of my own pocket because I'm impatient. And this will pay for printing and shipping and stuff. So in truth, I probably won't even see any profit until I hit like maybe somewhere between like 9K.
Yeah. This needs to get into 5 figures, young lady territory at least, just to have made it worth your time and effort to produce a comic book. So 6,000 is bare minimum, people. So hit that description link and get out there. Yeah, you've got your superhero habit that you support and your army guy action habit that you support, but you know what? This is going to foster the next generation of comic book readers. And this is something where you're going to want to get it, and you're going to want to give it to a younger kid. You want to give this to somebody that you can't give, Jawbreakers to. You can't give, Lost Souls to, or any of the other things. This is going to be something that you're like, oh, this is a comic book that a young kid can read and enjoy. And there's just so few of those, and the ones that we do have, to be honest, they're not all that good. This is some quality material here, and you owe it to yourself if you've got kids who are comics readers. I think the only thing out there that even comes into that area is Pillow Man and Blanket Boy, Sean Davis's.
Fellow North Carolina creator.
Yeah, and I could see that this is if the first one appeals to them, this one's going to appeal to the same readership. And I know that Sean had to launch a couple of different times too to finally make that a deal. So we're hoping that doesn't have to happen here for Unstitched. And I love that logo. That's a very polished looking logo. I steal these logos when I create these frames here. And sometimes you can tell, oh, I can match that easily with the rest of the dialogue because they just used this font and they tilted it. But that didn't happen here. This looks like it's all hand done.
That is actually done by Ed. How do I pronounce his last name? Lavelli. He actually is he's a comic creator himself. Oh my gosh! Give me 1 second.
We got the dogs. Who let the dogs in? And it's all right. The dogs have to have their say. They're telling you to hit the description link and get out there and back Unstitched.
Yep.
That's all the dogs are saying.
Yep.
Saying,
That's exactly what the dogs are saying. It's exactly what the dogs are saying. And also, they saw like a deer walk across the yard.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yep.
Why are you not out there targeting it right now?
Because I'm trying to sell Unstitched to all your lovely fans.
Well, there's business and then there's venison. It's a very difficult choice. Well,
I got some venison in the deep freezer. I'm good.
Okay,
now, my focus is Unstitched. If it wasn't for that, maybe that'd be tempting.
What kind of comics, were you writing that you hadn't? You said you'd written some comics and you tried to launch and they didn't quite launch off. What did you have story-wise with those kind of things, and what do you think might have been the reason why they didn't take off? So basically a lessons learned that's making this one at least start to get some traction.
So 100%. If your friends aren't actively trying to become comic artists themselves, and they come and go, and they're really good artists, and they're like, "Hey, let's do a comic together," don't. It's not going to go anywhere. That was the major issue. Is me and friends were like, "Ah, let's do a comic together," and I've been very serious about writing and stuff, and comic art is a whole nother thing when you try to do, layouts and panels and tell like sequential art. And I think that's a whole big pitfall where they're like, yeah, I would love to. 2 pages in, this is a lot of work.
This isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to draw sketches.
Yeah. So that was a big pitfall. I actually had money saved up once before, and I actually went to like a really nasty car wreck. So I was gonna actually try to do a comic about 3 years ago, but unfortunately, with physical therapy and surgery and stuff, my funding went away. And basically, the way I got funding, I got my money back, but it was like through the settlement suit, and that took time. And
yeah,
I was like, man, because I was actually talking to an artist at the time of like on a Facebook group, and I was like, cool, this I'm gonna find an artist. I have a script. I really want to do this. I want to, pursue this actively. And then an idiot driver just kind of messed up my day and messed up like the next 3 years, unfortunately. So that was a big hurdle. Yeah.
So what were these other stories like, and do you think they're might be the next thing you launch after Unstitched, presuming that we could get Unstitched to become a reality?
So they aren't the next thing, but like one of them was called Writer's Block Sucks, and it was gonna be like an adult Alice in Wonderland of, imagine if Stephen King went through a really nasty divorce and almost lost all of his like riches, because he also decided, I'm gonna produce the movies based on my books. So very successful writer, and if you watch the old Stephen King movies, they're not that good.
Oh God, Stephen King is notorious for having some of the best books turned into some of the worst movies. So, some of the movies are just, all they share is the title. It's not even the same story anymore.
So that was gonna be like my story of like very successful writer, best books, awful movies, except unlike Stephen King, he wanted to produce a lot of it out of his own money to try to get most of the reward. And movie flops, you kind of lose stuff. So he takes a brand new experimental drug, and he literally goes into his own mind to find writer's block, to kick writer's blocks butt. Like that was the whole premise.
Okay, that could be interesting to try to illustrate through sequential art. I'm kind of glad we're in Unstitched realm right now. So I think this is a more unique and more marketable thing.
Yeah, I do think this is more marketable. And then I had another story called Punk Rock Exorcist. And this one actually, so this was gonna be about a 3-man punk rock band where their instruments also turn into like weapons. And the premise was pop music is so bad and soulless, it literally takes people's souls out and turns them into like almost like zombie-like monsters.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The power of punk compels you.
So it's like a 3-man band, which you had like the lead singer and a guitarist who his guitar case turned into a shield. The bass player, his bass turned into an axe, and the drummer is like a giant mountain bearded man, where his beard actually comes like almost like a symbiote that fights for him. And he didn't actually have drums; he plays the bongos. So he also throws the bongos, similar to like Captain America shield. It was going to be a very ridiculous, off the wall and like the whole premise was to fight a very Justin Bieber-esque knockoff clone.
Okay, you know what? I think Unstitched is your thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very happy with Unstitched.
Now, remind me again. You said all the pages were done. I forget the page count on that one.
It is 48 pages.
48 pages. That's a good size for a book. I mean, another 12 pages, and you'd have basically what you'd have for a perfect bound book, a square bound book. So I'm assuming 48 pages is going to be stapled. And is
It's
this
actually
48 pages of
you can
story?
do a square bound at 48.
You can. I thought you had to have 60. So I learned something new. Is this 48 pages of story, or is it like 32 pages of
This
story?
is 48 pages
backup
completely of story.
Wonderful. So
Yep.
and that's it then. There's no here's a couple of pinups in the back or anything like that.
I've been getting fan art lately, so I'm actually gonna probably do some probably add in the back some of the concept art and then some of this gorgeous fan art that I've been getting here lately.
Very cool. Couple of more pages, make it thicker, but still 48 pages of pure story. And this is a crowdfunded book, people, so there are no ads in this. You're not going to get story continues on third page following, like you did in the old days. Yeah, so for 25 bucks, that's a very good deal for a crowdfunded book. Very average, what you're going to find across the board. And for 48 pages of story, that's wonderful. Got some great charities in here that are benefiting from some of these tiers. So I encourage you to hit one of these tiers up. I don't know if anybody's done this yet. Gosh, it's 30 minutes in. I dread seeing the page again and saying, roll it up and see if we've done anything. But, we'll look at it later. We'll look at it later.
It's all right. I've been on enough live streams where it's like, maybe it's nothing. It's okay. Maybe someone's going to watch. And I've seen it going up the next day where people watch the replay and I'm like, yes.
every little one counts. It's like, whenever everybody knows I write books. So whenever I have a new book show up on Amazon, another Destroyer book hits out there, I'm like, oh, it's listed. Refresh. No reviews yet. and I watch the ranking of it's ranked 205 in men's adventure books. It's ranked 430. I'm like, damn it, go the other way. You're falling.
No, you should be rising.
Yeah, I can only imagine if I had something crowdfunded, how much I would be obsessively hitting refresh on that thing.
It took like the first week, definitely. I was like, let me check. But I've gotten to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm only going to check in the mornings, at night, and then like maybe the next day or right after like a live stream. Hey, Lola.
Hey, Lola. Welcome to the show. Love seeing your wonderful icon show up in our streams here. We are trying to get Justin Dutton to a little closer to goal. God, wouldn't that be something if we ended up a stream and we just saw something finish up? I had that happen once, because he was only like $25 from the end of goal. And he made it during our stream. Like, yes, I finally pushed one over the edge. But just exposing it to a few more people and getting at least one or two more pushes. Only way I can help, crowdfunded comics community.
And man, I appreciate you.
I can't draw worth a lick. And I've met so many cool people who are doing such cool things here. And who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll come up with an artist who says, hey, RJ, you're writing all these books and you've got this story that you want to turn into a graphic novel. Let's do something with it. And then I can, move forward with that. But like I said, artists want paid. And I got too many other things in my life that demand. I got this kid running around. He thinks he has to eat. So,
I mean, you just be like, just pretend.
Yeah, eat pretend food. Daddy's doing comics.
We're having Wonder Bread tonight. What's that? You wonder if it's bread or not.
Yeah, don't ask questions. Don't chew fast and swallow hard. You need more water? Get some from the tap. So I had a question, and I can't remember what it was. We haven't seen any dialogue, obviously, on these pages yet.
Yep.
And you said you had a couple of pages lettered. Do you think maybe if you were able to get a couple of those lettered pages up and into the campaign, just to kind of update the thing that, people would be able to see from story, something to maybe draw them in further, plus let them see that it's, even closer to being completed.
You know what? Let me. Where is it at? Yep, because I'm doing some some of the editing and stuff because some things are always a bit different. But you know what? I'm gonna share.
We're gonna see some lettered pages.
You don't mind?
Around.
Yeah. If it loads, come on now. Come on, Dropbox. Oh, here we go. Alrighty. Where's StreamYard? Boom.
There it is.
Boom.
Add to screen.
Can you see it all right, or do I need to zoom in a little bit more?
Oh, look at that. We got some beautiful word balloons. I'm going to give it full page so that we can get this in all its glory here. Oh,
You know what? Actually, I can share full screen as well. And I'm going to... Oh, no, too much.
Gorgeous. Yeah, a little too much there. Would it help if I took out the border? Just for right.
No. Boom.
There we go. Perfect.
Yep, there we go.
Let's see what we got here. I am going to read aloud. You're all welcome. Time for bed, sweetheart. Do you have your book picked out?
Sure do, Daddy.
There you go, princess. All nice and tucked in.
Wah, wah, wah.
I'll be back. Gotta go check on little Logan. Oh, she's got Wolverine for brother. Love it.
Yes. You know what? That's actually my nephew's name as well. So, and I call him that all the time. Yep. Like I said, this book is made exactly for my niece and nephew.
Excellent. Let me go make sure your daddy doesn't freak out. You know how clueless he can be sometimes. We will be back for your story, Eleanor. And Eleanor's like, yeah, screw you guys. I'm going to open this book myself. And that doesn't look like it. That sounds foreboding. This is a dangerous book, I think.
Oh my gosh. I got to adjust it every time, it seems like. Boom.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yep.
Got all those creepy eyes.
Yeah.
Good night, princess. Good night, sweetheart.
Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad.
And this, I love that. Look at that sliver of light from the closed door just goes right across her face. We all know what that's like. And then
Oh,
she's
yeah.
out. Eleanor.
Ah, Mom, Dad.
Yeah, I'd freak out too. I'd be calling for my mom and dad, and they're dead. She runs down the stairs. Somebody runs down the stairs.
Yep.
Mom, Dad. It's okay, just a bad dream. You can sleep with us for tonight. And the darkness stays in her room. And who? Now that's a different darkness there on her bed. Is that the boogeyman?
No, it's still the darkness himself. He's a very the way I kind of and this might be a little bit too technical, but so I believe children's stories should never talk down. So kids are afraid of the dark, and the dark is kind of one of the top 5 human phobias. So the science behind that is it's kind of like a primal fear of when we were cavemen and stuff. Sleep at the fire or whatever, and maybe some nights there wasn't a fire made. So
right.
A lot of predators are nocturnal. You wake up the next day and going, oh, seems like Bob's gone.
Genetic memory.
So it's one of those primal fears. So
square shape.
Yep. So in my story, fear takes form in the darkness. So the darkness is very morphic in how
didn't
he
know
appears.
if his shape was related to the book
Yep.
we saw earlier. Is he the book or some representation of the book? Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. We froze
He
him up. He's
will,
back.
yeah, he will reflect Eleanor's fear. And there's some stuff related to him and the book.
Okay. And then we're in Dreamland. Safe area is not part of the text. That is part of the print.
Yeah, that's like I said. This is we still got some editing and formatting and stuff.
All right, so we got the two would-be teddies. Looks like we got
Yep.
Lime Monkey and Orange Ted. Says, hey, you ready? Today's the day. Yeah, totally. The day I prove I'm the best and pass the exam. Just try not to get left behind. I need a period after exam there. I think we're gonna need some breath.
Yeah.
You are so full of yourself for being second best. Quiet, Stuffings. Okay, Stuffings, you want to be teddies? Well, it ain't easy. It's rough protecting them kids.
Bedbugs don't sound so tough.
To let y'all find out for yourselves, you will be duking it out with some bedbugs. Ha! Say that again after the test. They won't be all you go against. He looks like he's getting ready to enjoy himself here.
Oh yeah.
King Friday. Oh. I had a Mr. Rogers moment for a minute there.
You know what? That's okay. Like some people are like, "He reminds me of Mr. Rogers." Some people are like, "Is that Santa?"
Well, no, but on Mr. Rogers' neighborhood in Land of Make Believe, the King
Yep.
Friday always came out on the parapet of that castle out that little through the curtains the puppet did. Oh, okay.
You know
candidates.
what?
May you
That
have a good
actually
night.
was a conscious decision.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad
Cool.
I'm glad someone actually realized like there's a slight Mr. Rogers neighborhood and love.
Oh, get 'em, boys. Looks like new soft pillows to me. I'll knock the stuffings out of them.
Ooh, this is always so fun. And then they're smacking and they're powing.
Yep.
That's awesome. This, you know what I've
And then
done?
some
I've started
pages
the
just
other
need
way.
to be action and no words.
Oh yeah. Well, that's that's why it's comics.
Exactly.
All right, let's not give it all away, but I definitely see.
Nah, you know what? We can do
this
this one. We can do this one more page.
All right. I have scared everybody off, by the way. They're like, what the hell? Get out of here.
Scrap, looks like we passed the test.
The warm-up you did. Now here's the actual test. Only one of you will pass. Oh boy, this is the exciting part. I wonder if the rookies can deal with the MIC. Best of luck, rookies. That's me doing my best monotone Mr. Rogers doing King Friday the 13th.
I love it.
Dream King is excited. Time to show him how great I am. Uh-oh. Oh, that looks like you know who that looks like? Who was the Purple Pie Man in Strawberry Shortcake? Not Strawberry Shortcake. Rainbow Bright. The one of the glooms in Rainbow Bright. It was the henchman to whoever was the bad guy in that. That big fluffy storm cloud look to him. Oh, he's got horns too. This is no one to mess with. Yeah, they look like they're kind of worried about him. Now, are they this is getting a little too Star Trek-y here, but are they fighting simulations or are they fighting the real thing here?
They're fighting the real thing.
So I would guess that there's enough teddies around that, if these two fail the test, these things aren't going to take over or anything. They're they're going to be taken down. They should know they're going to be taken down.
Yeah, it's kind of like I wanted this to have like a gladiator feel. So there's in the ancient Rome and the gladiators, you had lions, but clearly they're kept up in cages. So we have a threat, but we have like a smaller version of one. So it's not like a too bad, and we only have like a X amount of bed bugs, so it's not like they're gonna overrun the place. We more or less got a puny monster in the closet in captivity, as you'll find out they do get bigger.
Well, this is all very cool, and I think this is something that if we have some crowdfunded people here who have children, they should want to get this, and maybe they want to put it in the kids' hands. It is a crowdfunded book. It is $25. There's an investment going on here. But this is something you should be able to read to them, and don't be afraid to do voices. I'm not.
Exactly. All kids love voices, and especially if you can do a Mr. Rogers voice, you're golden.
Yeah, it's fun to read aloud to kids and do voices. I used to read my son's favorite book when he was a lot younger was Fish Out of Water, and he had the little kid who had the fish, and for some reason whenever I read the little kid's voice, I always gave him Jimmy Stewart to talk. So it's like this little kid with this older voice, like, Mr. Carp, I fed my fish too much, Mr. Carp, what do I do? And then Mr. Carp was always the nasally,
when you feed your fish, don't feed him too much, just a little dot.
I miss that book. Now he's like almost 13, and it's like, yeah, whatever, Dad. And I'm like, no, sit down and read Dr. Seuss with me again. So, all right, so we're coming in at the top of the hour, and we've had people coming in and out. Hopefully they've gone out when they've been clicking on the link to go back unstitched, and then coming back and finding out more about this series. Let's take one more peek at the tally thing before we go here. We'll do the whole Jerry Lewis telethon thing. It got dark behind you, man, and I think that's the bat signal in the sky.
It almost does look like it.
And drum roll.
Boom.
I have no idea if it went up or not. No, it's still 74%.
Yeah.
74%. I am sorry, man.
It's all good, man.
It's still here.
Yep, the replay is always still here, and hopefully, afterwards you're gonna be like, man, talking to that guy Justin and seeing his book, that was real cool, especially those lettered pages. I definitely want to back this.
Yeah, I'm going to when I refresh my Twitter right after this, and I relink everybody to come catch the replay, I'm going to let them know lettered page is available exclusively here to see, and somebody may actually read them with silly voices. So you want to come see this.
Or they can have the great and wonderful treat of having you read the voices to them and be like, I remember when I was a child.
Exactly. Yes. All right. Well, Justin, with that in mind, we're going to get this replay pushed out to as many people as we can now, and encourage them to come here and back Unstitched. This is a real quality book. I think that it deserves to be seen by a lot of people, and they should want to get in here and back this and get this in your hands. Since you do have the 48 pages done, and obviously the lettering is well underway, 22 pages left to get this thing funded. If it gets funded, and let's go ahead and assume it does, if it gets funded, what's the turnaround time for the expectation for the printing and the shipping and getting it in people's hands? I mean, this is closing out July right now.
Yeah. So I have an estimate of like January, February.
Okay.
And that's just because of with the situation going on with like COVID and all the other stuff. I want to give myself a little, give myself some buffer. But really, it's like, all right, so maybe if I get funded, that should be like about a week, give or take, depending on how busy Eric Weathers can get to it. You know, have like my editor look at it, make sure everything's right, because some things get lost in like translation or copy and paste. Like he didn't grab a period or something like that. It happens. Or sometimes you go, I want to change this dialogue now that I'm seeing the bubble actually on the page.
You just said Eric Weathers, and I swear to God, that man does not sleep, because everybody I talk to is like, and we're getting lettered by Eric Weathers. I'm like,
yeah,
Eric's got his own book to do. Can you guys give him a break? But
no,
you're going
never.
for the best guy in the business to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
Exactly.
never paid attention to the letterer of a book before, and now I know Eric Weathers. So
Yes, that's
and I've had him on the show. We talked Battle Brick Road.
nice. This is an exciting project. The way I almost kind of describe
he's got time to do it.
Yeah. Lettering's one of those like weird things of like I never really paid attention to letterers before, unless it was either something that happened lettering wise that was like really eye catching, good or bad. So you're like, okay, ooh,
like,
this is very exciting. Like
Todd
early
Klein's lettering in Sandman was that way.
Yes, like you pay attention. You're like, okay, and you take note. And then other times you're like, why does this look so bad? And then you take note.
But most of
It's
the
one of
time,
those-
good lettering means you don't see it.
Yep, exactly.
It's only the bad lettering that you usually ever see, unless it's like you said, something extremely unusual and art, and it lends itself more to the art, the appearance of it.
Yeah, and Eric did that very well when you have like page 2 with Eleanor's name being repeated multiple times with the darkness. You're like, oh, this is great. This adds to the art, and this is just amazing. Which I mean, everyone knows Eric. He's a professional.
Yes, absolutely. And it's if you surround yourself with professionals, then it's gonna show. And you've definitely done that. I remember the story about Henry Ford, because I read this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and there was and it talked about surrounding yourself with a mastermind group, getting the best of the best and having them be around you all times. And there was a lawsuit, I guess, at some point because somebody in print said that Henry Ford was a very stupid man, and Henry Ford decided to sue. So the paper's like, well, we're just going to make hay out of this. We'll take that lawsuit, we'll take him to court, and we'll prove that he's stupid. So they tried to give him like a test on the stand. It's like, how much is this plus this, or who was the president of that country? And finally, he had enough that he says, you know what, Your Honor, on my desk I have a box, and on that box are 7 buttons. And if I ever need to know the answer to any question, I press one of them 7 buttons, and somebody comes into my office and gives me the correct answer to this question. Because he had surrounded himself. He had Google.
He had Google before Google.
Exactly. And the judge had to say, well, anybody smart enough to do that is not an idiot. To always have the answers on hand and to have the professionals at your beck and call to give you professional advice. And, that story just kind of came to mind here when you told me that you've got Eric Weathers and your art is definitely a professional artist. So you've gone out and you've gotten the best. You've put out a book that should rank among the best, and I think that I think you'll see in the last week or so when the final push gets in, that's when people are going to start throwing money at it again. For some reason, it's always big at the beginning. It kind of slows down, and then it's big at the end again, and it's never really over until you've extended it once. Nothing finishes the first 30 days. So
yeah, and I mean I'm the first time like actual creator, so I get some hesitation, and that's why I've made sure that all the art is done. When I launched in like June 18th, we had like only 4 pages left, so it's not like, oh, where's my book? It's 2 years late. No, that's not gonna happen. The art is done, so there's no way that this book's gonna be 2 years late or a year late. It's
I
It's
think
gonna
it's
be
going to be earlier. I mean, I know you've given
yeah.
yourself a conservative estimate of December to January, but with all the art done, all the lettering being done, um, and this wrapping up 22 days from now, which will put it somewhere in the middle of August, I would not be surprised if people had their book by November.
Yeah, and that is why I wanted to, make sure that like my estimate date it was like January, February, because I was like, I want to beat it. I have almost at the time I only had like 4 pages left, so I was like, I have all the art done. We got some lettering, we're gonna like still tweak it and stuff, and I got to pay for like the rest of the lettering. And just then it's more or less getting like all the prints and getting ready to ship. So it's
well, then let's get this
definitely
thing pushed. I want to see this get past 6,000. I want to see this get past 10. I think this should enter the 5-figure range, and we got 22 days to do this. It's plenty of time still. Even to just hit goal, you're 25% of the way there. You've done 3/4 of it, and you're 3/4 of the way into a 2-month campaign. So that's about right. So let's get this thing to spike. We'll do what we can on our end.
Yep. And hopefully, once people read part 1, they'll really love it, and then part 2 will get funded within the first 30 days because like, I can't wait for the sequel.
Exactly. And because you'll have already fulfilled something, that will go a long way towards making that fund faster. You'll have a lot more people with faith in you. So everybody, hit that link for Unstitched in the description below, and let's make this thing happen for Justin and the Unstitched team, and put out something there for all you crowdfunding and CG kids. That's what we need hashtag CG kids. This
What? I think Sean Davis actually has a CG for kids as a hashtag when he did a Blanket Boy and Pillow Man.
Time to hijack it.
Yep,
That
it
sucker.
is.
All right. Justin, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Appreciate it. And when you do part 2, and I have every confidence that you will do part 2, we'll have you back on here to help push that earlier in the campaign rather than later next time.
All right, man. Thank you, brother.
We'll see you later.
Hi. Thanks for stopping by for another Critical Blast video. The internet is a big place, and we know there are lots of other places you could be other than here, and we appreciate you being here immensely. If you enjoyed this kind of content, we hope you'll return for more. If you click the subscribe button, you'll get a little notification of when we produce new video content. If you would like to help the channel out, there are many ways to do so. Just visiting our main hub, criticalblast.com, will do wonders. But if you're more of a show me the merchandise type of person, there are links in the description of this video to our t-shirt shop, as well as links to Amazon for the books we publish under the Critical Blast Publishing imprint, including the urban fantasy anthology Gods and Services and the YA superhero novel Bulletproof by Stephen J. Mitchell. Thanks again for visiting this video. We hope you had a blast.